Thank you for joining us on Talk Time on Lugard TV. I'm your host, Sharifat Ibrahim, and today I am with the Director General, Kogi Information Communication Technology Development Agency, Dr. Bashir Tenuche. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Okay, let's quickly dive on a business of the day. Can you briefly introduce the Kogi State ICT Development Agency and its core mandate?
Okay. Thank you very much for having me here today. It's a great honor to be here discussing with you. So like you said, like I was introduced earlier, Dr. Bashir Tenuche, the pioneer DG for the Kogi State ICT Development Agency. First of all, I must give kudos to the executive governor for the foresight to set up an agency like this. It's the first of its kind in the state, an agency that serves as the pivotal agency for promoting ICT and ensuring that we're able to deepen penetration of ICT across all sectors and across all aspects of the state.
Okay, as the Director General, what is your vision for the agency since you assume office?
We have a whole lot of not a whole lot. We have a couple of mandates that actually hold that were formed along with the agency for the agency to be able to accomplish these things. But personally, as the DG, I am very interested in a Kogi State where everyone can be an ICT stakeholder, in the sense that everybody. During my times in school, we came across something called technophobia. There's a form of phobia for ICT, which is a kind of fear for ICT. So I really hope that we can come to a situation, a point in Kogi State where everyone is comfortable with ICT and everybody is involved in ICT in one way or the other.
Okay, let's quickly move on to achievement and impact. What would you say are the most notable achievements of the agency under your leadership?
So far, it's a new agency. It was created, I was appointed just about 6 months ago. That's quite a long time to be able to do a lot of things. Okay. But since my appointment as DG and since the inception of the agency, I think we've tried to visit major stakeholders. Major stakeholders for now that I have visited, I'll call the institutions, the major institutions, the universities, the tertiary institutions, Ayingba, Prince Abubakar Audi University, Ayingba, Confluence University, Osara, Kogi State University, Kaba. We've also had some engagement with the Office of the Vice President, where we engage with some of the senior special assistants to see how we can promote ICT by introducing feeder hubs, something I'm sure we'll still discuss later along the line. And then also I was able to have an interaction with the DG of our parent company, as a National Information Technology Development Agency, Kashifu Inua. Okay. And he has offered that he has offered to pledge some support to us in one way or the other as we move on. So right now we are trying to engage with stakeholders to see how we can actually promote and deepen ICT. Of major interest, I'd like to mention here is our involvement and association with some of the local governments. Because in my time at the university, where I was an integral part of the e-exam committee, I came to realize that many of the students that we interact with have problems not with the exams. The major reason for failure wasn't really about the kind of questions or non-challenge, it was about the use of ICT. So of major interest to the agency is to deepen our interaction with the local governments, which we have already started, and then we'll see how we can engage more people into adopting ICT in daily activities.
Okay, you've just mentioned that you visited schools and local governments and all of that. Then that brings me to collaboration and funding. So how does the agency engage with local startups, entrepreneurs, or tech hubs?
So, at the moment, we've not really, thank you for that very gracious point, we've not really had any particular interaction with tech hubs. One of the missions and visions of the agency is to be able to create a tech community within the state, and that will require tech hubs. There are existing tech hubs, a few tech hubs I'm aware of, which I have had interactions with even before becoming a DG. As a matter of fact, I was director of a tech hub in Prince Abubakar Audi University, also coincidentally also set up by NIDA. And then the idea was to kind of foster participation in ICT and also promote ICT. But I took it personally then as an opportunity to advance ICT skills, to train people on advanced ICT skills, because I also see us as we have the potential to be creators and producers of software, as opposed to just focusing on consuming software. So interaction with, I hope I'm not digressed or diverted from your question. So interaction with hubs and local startups is something that will still happen in the future, I believe. As we grow and as we gain more ground, we would like to bring in more people and associate and work with as many more people as possible.
Okay, I was going to ask about future plans. Okay, which you just mentioned, that interacting with the tech hub.
Yeah.
So, what are your strategic priorities for the next 2 to 3 years?
Oh, brilliant! So, like I said earlier, I'm very, very interested in the possibility of developing a group of tech enthusiasts.
Okay.
Tech enthusiasts in the sense that people who share core values, similar values as myself in ICT. And this goes beyond just using ICT. Don't get me wrong, though. It's always enlightening to find that many people around, like I said before, I hope that we can all become stakeholders one way or the other. It's enlightening to find that many people across use ICT, have adopted ICT for different activities. But in the future, I really hope that I foresee and I hope and I intend to set up an ICT with the help of course, everyone involved, and most importantly, the executive governor, who has shown a lot of passion in ICT. We hope that we can develop a strong tech community. We had this opportunity back then in Aingba, at the NIDA Innovation Hub that was set up in Aingba. Like I said, I was the pioneer director and coordinator at that time too, and we're able to engage some of our students. And interestingly enough, some of the students I taught in class who are not extremely smart theoretically turned out to be very, very, how do I put it, like they were among the best students when it came to the practicals, the hands-on work here.
Okay.
So it now gave me a different idea, a different view on ICT. Okay, there's a theoretical aspect and then there's a practical aspect. And among the practical aspects, there are people who actually want to create, who want to produce. So, because then it's still like a joke. Okay, take an assignment and then we'll build a website for a faculty or for a department. And subsequently, we're still having other faculties and other departments coming to the office that, hey, please, we want you to build this for us, want us to do this, want you to do this for us. So I also see that we can replicate something like that on the state level, where we might not necessarily deal on, basics like websites. We'll be talking about, how we can automate some processes. Of course, there'll be need to be involved in some of these processes to understand how it works before we can now think about automating the processes. And that's why I said before, I'm very particular about a team of software developers, enthusiasts.
Okay.
Also, talking about future plans, look at, for example, adoption level, adoption rates across MDAs. Is also part of what we've, I didn't mention that earlier, it's also part of what we've done. We took it up seriously as soon as we came in. And we hope that, based on maybe statewide capacity building trainings, we can encourage more people to adopt and use ICT for their daily activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's taking me to e-governance and innovation.
Okay.
You're aware that recently the federal government has said that the civil service will actually move away from paper to e-governance. But before we go into that, you were going to tell me about digital inclusion and youth empowerment. How is the agency promoting digital literacy, especially in rural and underserved communities in Kogi State?
Yes, those are areas.
And don't forget that about e-governance. We are still coming.
Yeah, okay. So do you want me to answer e-governance?
Yes.
Let's focus on the youth empowerment now,
Yes,
right? Okay.
yes.
So, yes, it's all the while in everything we've done so far, I must tell you that empowerment amongst the youth has been like a core mandate, to be the core aspect of everything we do. Our visit to the institutions not only looked at what the institutions, how they use ICT. We did not only focus on how institutions use ICT.
Okay.
We also looked at the opportunities available for the local communities around the institutions. Luckily, fortunately, the Confluence University set up in Osara, which is almost, it's not a city-like environment. Likewise, Aingba, the Prince Abubakar University, and then the Kaba University. Looking at the location of these universities, we also try to understand how, I'm talking specifically about ICT now. So we have to look at how the existing ICT infrastructure there can serve the local community. How can they benefit from this? At the moment, I would like to, it's a great plus that CBT exams are ongoing at institutions where they invite kids from everywhere, students from everywhere, from around, come and write the exams in their centers. JAMB, CBTs, post-UME is one of the major CBTs. That's the one I'm mostly involved in. And this has created an opportunity for many of these kids to have access, first-hand access to ICT. Now, we hope that along the lines, as we carry on, we'll be able to introduce ICT training courses, ICT adoption courses for these kids to bring them, into the university ICT labs, already existing labs. So, pardon me, let me just talk about what I know. The one I'm very conversant with is President Bakar Audi University. There's a NIDA hub, which I was leading back then, was set up just shortly after COVID in 2021.
Okay.
The university has its computer center, which is part of the Department of Computer Science under the Faculty of Natural Sciences. There's also an e-library. So all these places are equipped with computers, still not enough, still not nearly enough. But so far, they have been able to serve the community by allowing them to use these places for exams, and also allowing, for now, students of the university to participate in ICT trainings there. So subsequently, we'll see how we can, bring in, we'll see how we can reach an agreement with the universities, which we're already talking about. We're already working on with the management of the universities. How can we use some of this infrastructure to also equip and train the general citizenry?
Okay. Yeah. Now we are moving to e-governance and innovation. So what progress has Kogi State made in terms of adopting e-governance platforms?
Yes, honestly, the state is, I'd say we're doing very well in that aspect. In e-governance, there was a workshop some time ago where even I went there to listen to, some of the potential and prospects of e-governance in the state. And I tell you that as it is, I'll quickly talk about a project we worked on most recently, which I think I'd like to call it a very successful project so far, even though we've not gone far. We had an interaction with MDAs conducting an ICT audit, all in relation to what we learned from the e-governance. We're trying to understand the level of ICT penetration and evaluation. It was an evaluation test across MDAs, and from what we have seen, from the kind of responses we have gotten, though we have not received responses from all the MDAs that received our audit forms. The idea was to understand the level of, like I said, so it was an evaluation to understand the penetration levels. And so far, we've seen that even though there's a lot of interest from a lot of the staff of ministries, there's some, like it always is in most ICT projects, some setback, either in the form of personnel or infrastructure or inadequate ICT devices that will naturally help promote ICT. Besides the knowledge and the skill, look at you now. You have a tablet in front of you where you're doing your work. So whether the people are interested or not, we really need to improve on infrastructure and the ICT devices around. That's what I noticed from the ministries.
Okay, I know you've talked about the plans of the agency, and I still want you to tell us, are there upcoming ICT projects or innovation the public should be excited about? Considering the fact that you just mentioned that aside the fact that the people are willing and eager to do this, there are other things that are hindrances, the infrastructure and equipment and all of that. So that's making me asking you now, are there upcoming ICT projects or innovations the public should be excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, even before I joined, at the time I was appointed, I got to know about some existing projects or some projects that were in the works that are about to be launched in the States. And all this had happened even before I came into the system. Very exciting projects. I'll prefer not to share here. Hopefully, we'll start to see some of them very soon. But on our own side, at the agency, we're very particular, very strong on skill development, digital literacy, advanced skill development, something we're taking seriously. And most recently, I had the privilege of interacting with the Director General and CEO of the National Information Technology Development Agency, Kashifu Inuwa, because I had heard about, and he also mentioned the National Digital Literacy Framework, that is a countrywide digital literacy program, and the state is excited. We're really excited about the prospects of keying into it, even though we have to sign an MOU between the states and NIDA to ensure that it is properly carried out. So on that note, we're also discussing with our superiors, the management, the office of the secretary, to the government of Kogi State, to see how we can draft the proper MOU. Of course, also in how do you say it in the law? Also, the Attorney General has to play a huge role in this to ensure that the MOU covers what you actually want to achieve. I am particularly excited about that.
Okay.
I'm particularly very, very excited about the prospects of bringing in more people into learning tech skills, and then also our part of advanced skills. And there are a few more projects that are coming up, which because this has started before me, when they're still underway now.
Yeah.
I prefer not to discuss them right here. Yeah.
Okay, having done your path as an agency, you need to know what the people feel about your work. And that's why we're going to talk about public engagement and feedback. So how can citizens interact with the agency, provide feedback, or access its services?
At the moment, and I like to believe that I'm very approachable. I'm very open to new ideas and suggestions. The agency has a social media page where I'm always there to listen to answer questions, to talk to people, respond to people. And I try to engage with the local community too, IT groups like the 3MTT group. I was in contact with the coordinator and some of the students who are excelling really well. We had a very interesting discussion where they expressed some of the ideas, some of the things they like to see. They wanted to know the prospects of the agency and what to expect and all that. So as much as possible, we'll try to engage with the existing IT community ecosystem in the state. Yeah, because there was already an existing community, obviously, before we joined it. But it's just really nice to know now that there's an agency that stands as the forefront for ICT in the state. And for that reason, I'm very open to people in the ICT community, especially. And, I'm always ready to listen to new ideas, open to suggestions, and better ways of doing things. We learn every day, so I take it up as part of I teach and I learn. It's an everyday thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a two-way thing.
Yeah, knowledge sharing is always like that. Yeah.
All right. What message would you like to leave with the people of Kogi State, especially the youth, about the future of ICT in the state?
Yeah, ICT is. Look around you today, even in this room, even in your media center. ICT is at the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
Today, I cannot point out one thing right now that does not require ICT. So I believe that the best form of empowerment, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about my government counterparts or anybody. I'm talking about the youths. The best form, because there's several levels of empowerment. You can key into whatever you want. But I feel like the best way to empower yourself in this generation, this century, and for the next 100 whatever years, for the next century, is through ICT. ICT is constantly evolving. There's never a time where you feel like ICT is ahead of you. You can catch up. Never a time. I always tell people at any time you can pick up ICT and be a part of ICT. And as long as you understand some of the basic skills, though it depends on what you want to do with ICT. Some people have to. Some people believe that they have to. Some people want to do the really big things in ICT. Get the major skills. But I just feel like understanding ICT and being able to leverage on the potentials of ICT is actually the key to empowerment in the future.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We hope to see more of you.
I'll be happy to come back to tell you more about what we're doing in the nearest future.
All right.
Yeah.